It was meant to be a sweet gesture, but it left a bitter aftertaste, both literally and figuratively. In a jaw-dropping moment on the Graham Norton Show, a segment featuring Meghan Markle's newly launched As Ever jam took a humiliating turn when the famed host couldn't hide his reaction after tasting it. "Too sweet," he said bluntly, his discomfort thinly veiled. The camera caught a fleeting grimace, the kind that speaks volumes beyond polite words. What followed was an awkward silence that felt heavier than any polite applause. For Meghan, who had hoped to launch her lifestyle brand with the glitz and glamour expected of a former royal, the moment was nothing short of catastrophic. Meghan Markle's brand has always been wrapped in carefully curated layers of authenticity, from her confessional interviews with Oprah to tear-streaked revelations in Netflix specials. As ever, her latest lifestyle venture under the umbrella of the Sussexes Archewell brand was supposed to be another brick in the castle of her self-made empire. The jam, a simple product with rustic branding and sentimental slogans, was designed to conjure images of pastoral elegance and personal touch, but the moment it landed on the shelves and Graham Norton's taste buds, the illusion began to crumble. Critics weren't just reacting to the taste. They were reacting to the contradiction. Meghan, who has spent years positioning herself as a voice for sustainability, mindfulness, and conscious living, released a product filled with more sugar than substance. The nutritional breakdown of the jam, available for anyone to Google, reveals an excessive amount of processed sugar, no clear trace of organic certification, and no stated commitment to ethical sourcing. In a post-Gwyneth Paltrow world of high-end wellness, that's not just a misfire. It's tone-deaf. The Meghan Harry brand has long relied on the careful spinning of narrative. But in recent months, the seams are showing. The jam incident isn't isolated, it's just the latest example of a broader credibility crisis. From their Spotify deal falling through amid claims of low productivity to the criticisms of their Netflix content being more spectacle than substance, it's become increasingly clear that the Sussexes are struggling to transform their fame into enduring relevance. What's worse, Meghan seems to be leaning harder into the celebrity she once claimed to escape. As Ever is not just a jam, it's a lifestyle attempt masquerading as meaning. It's symbolic of a woman trying to wrap herself in the language of authenticity while selling sugar in a glass jar for £10 a pop. What made the Graham Norton moment particularly damning was that it wasn't orchestrated by tabloids or royal commentators. This wasn't Piers Morgan taking potshots, it was a mainstream, widely respected, and largely apolitical figure reacting in real time. Norton's discomfort was honest. It wasn't mean-spirited, it wasn't exaggerated, it was simply real. It was meant to be a sweet gesture, but for years, she has banked on being misunderstood, vilified, and targeted. While there's no doubt she has faced genuine racism and harassment, particularly from toxic corners of the British press, her inability to distinguish between legitimate critique and systemic abuse has alienated even her defenders. The jam incident, for all its trivial appearance, marks a shift. The narrative is changing. The audience that once gave her the benefit of the doubt is now asking tougher questions and laughing less. If Meghan ever intended to rise above the fray and craft a post-royal identity rooted in impact and change, that mission has veered dangerously off course. With each new product, podcast, or PR release, she seems more like a brand ambassador than a changemaker. Her attempts at entrepreneurship feel less like passion projects and more like calculated grabs at cultural capital. Let's not forget, this is the same Meghan who lectured the world about climate change while jet-setting in private planes. The same Meghan who condemned the toxicity of royal life, only to sign multimillion-dollar deals and give globally broadcast interviews with Oprah and Netflix. The same Meghan who preaches kindness and empathy, yet regularly engages in silent wars with her own family and Harry's. Her brand is contradiction, and no amount of handwritten jam labels can mask that. As Ever, or As Expected, the name of her jam, As Ever, was intended to reflect timelessness and continuity, a nod to handwritten sign-offs and personal connection. Instead, it reads like a cruel joke, because as ever, Meghan Markle seems determined to take every opportunity for grace and turn it into a branding moment. As ever, she wraps self-promotion in the language of sincerity. As ever, the execution doesn't match the message. There's nothing inherently wrong with a celebrity selling jam. But when you position yourself as a visionary leader, a humanitarian, and a disruptor of unjust systems, you don't get to fumble a product launch this badly without facing scrutiny. Not when the entire brand rests on being better, more mindful, more real than the rest. The reaction to the Graham Norton segment was swift and brutal on social media. Hashtags like #Jamgate and #TooSweetToSwallow began trending, and meme makers wasted no time. But beneath the humor was something sharper: exasperation. The sense that the public has had enough of Meghan's performative sincerity. Enough of the saccharine packaging of shallow content. Enough of the down-spinning the narrative as bold taste meets bold personality. That spin might work on a Bravo reality show, but it doesn't work here. That as-ever fiasco is just one symptom of a deeper issue. Meghan and Harry have long struggled to align their public personas with their private behavior. Whether it's cashing in on royal titles while denouncing the institution or preaching mental health awareness while waging personal feuds in the public eye, their actions often betray their messages. This growing credibility gap is particularly stark for Meghan. Her entire rebrand, from actress to duchess to entrepreneur, has leaned heavily on victimhood and virtue. But sympathy is a finite resource, and with each failed venture,